Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 1461, written by Anonymous. The Cryptozoological Anomaly. When I was 8 years old, I was riding with my mom and we were on our way to see my grandma and grandpa. We were on a rural road that runs through the deep woods. We were going along and all of a sudden, we saw a very large black cat. It had a huge head, and after looking it up, it was a black jaguar. My mom and I both saw this thing and told others what we had seen. Everyone told us we were crazy. I told a fish and wildlife biologist what I saw, and they said they don't exist in the state or this part of the country. Fast forward 20 years, I was living in another state, hundreds of miles away. I was archery deer hunting a piece of property that sat across the street from my house. It was a cold November morning. I was about 30 feet up a hackberry tree in a climbing deer stand, hunting about 70 yards from the edge of the property line, and where a fence line separated the property from a cow pasture. I got in the stand before dark, and hadn't seen anything all morning except squirrels when something caught the corner of my eye. I looked over and saw a big black cat walking along the fence line. It had a very long tail. It was different from the large cat that I had seen over 20 years earlier. There was thick cover between me and lots of hardwoods covered in green briar, but I could see it clear as day. It was very slinky in the way it moved, and it knew that I was there because it kept looking in my direction as it walked. It disappeared in a few seconds, and I never saw it again. I got down out of my stand and pulled my pistol out to walk out of the woods. It was scary to think about all the times that I had walked in the pitch black. Not being an expert in big cats, I've seen many bobcats in my life, and I've had lots of house cats over the years. I began to research the cat I had seen. It definitely wasn't a jaguar and wasn't a mountain lion. I found pictures online of black leopards. The cat that I saw was solid black. It didn't have spots. You could tell that it was a juvenile. It wasn't fully grown. It looked young. Once again, I got the line well. We don't have those here. The strange thing was I had several half-wild cats that lived in a barn on my property. My wife and I fed them and they would come up and we would pet them, but they would freak out if we brought them into the house. So they lived in the barn. One cat was really sweet. She would follow me around the property, and wherever I was, she would be within a few feet of me and just watch me. A few weeks before I saw that cat, she disappeared, which was strange. She was always around. I waited for days and weeks and I never saw her again. I believe that big cat got my outside cats. Case file 1461. The Cryptozoological Mystery. So many sightings these days of beasts and creatures where they just don't belong. They're navigating into areas that they shouldn't be in. Even if they're normal animals, it makes you wonder, what is the fundamental change that is happening to our planet? Is it climate change? Is it the realigning of the magnetic field? I don't know, but something's going on. Do you feel it too? It's some kind of planetary shift. Case file number 1462, written by Nervous Elk, 7053. My Reincarnated Skirt. A couple years ago, I was helping my mom clean out her closet and donate some of her clothes. We came across a jean skirt she used to wear a lot, but hadn't reached for in quite some time. She was hesitant to give it away, but I reminded her she hasn't worn it in a while. It's not in style right now. Maybe it's time to part ways with it. Note that we both remembered this conversation and decided to give away the skirt. Since then, jean skirts have come back in style, and we've had many conversations about how we regret our decision to get rid of the skirt. Well, this Saturday morning I got a message from my mother that while she was looking through her closet getting dressed for a funeral, bam! There is the skirt we both so dearly missed, was just right there in front of her. And she sent me a picture. We had gone through her closet multiple times in the past years since we got rid of it, looked through the spot where it showed up, and both of us swear it was never there. But now I guess the universe heard our disappointment and has returned the skirt back to us. So wild. Case file 1462. My Reincarnated Skirt. Yeah, this is a proper universal return. And it's curious that you don't actually need a DOP event, a disappearing object phenomena, to get the item back. Now there's ideas that maybe they just come from other parallel universes. They're not creating mass. The universe isn't creating mass from thin air, it's just borrowing it or stealing it from a different universe. But it's weird. I mean, there's no other way to say it, because why would the specific skirt of anything that could possibly be transported over be transported over? It's like someone was listening and knowing that you wanted it. There is a mind at play, or maybe an AI of some kind. Bonus file written by Icarus212521. The Midnight Visitor. I was 14 years old when I had one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. My bed faced a set of cupboards in front of me. The cupboards were old and designed in a way they didn't close properly. Instead, the inside of the cupboard had a magnet and the doors had a small piece of metal. Without either of those pieces, the door would remain slightly open. One night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt a heavy feeling on top of my legs. I opened my eyes and saw a black shape that kind of looked like an animal, but was about the size of a child crouched on top of my bed. It was just sitting there, looking down on the bed. I couldn't move until it started moving itself. I screamed and pulled myself up, grabbing and shoving the thing off my bed, and I ran out of it just about in tears. My parents searched my room. Nothing. My parents said I had a nightmare, and I was inclined to believe them. The next morning I got up for school. As I went to get dressed, I noticed my cupboard was slightly open. When I took a look at it, I found the metal on the door had come off. There was no indication that there had been an issue before, and I know I didn't touch the cupboard. My parents insisted I must have hit it, as they said they heard a bang as well. However, the cupboard was at the foot of my bed while the door is up to the sides. No object was found that could have hit it. No follow-up incident ever happened, and I never got an explanation. Case notes for the bonus file. The Midnight Visitor. Yeah, this harkens back again to sleep paralysis, and the things we see when we're just coming out of the dreamlike state, they aren't always, sometimes maybe, but they aren't always just figments or creations of our own mind. When they're physically interacting with the real world, well, clearly in that case, they're not just fiction, created by our cerebral processes, no. They really are there, not of the material world, but capable of phasing through, or at least interacting with us, in that dreamlike state, just coming out of it. There's a transition process that happens somewhat slowly, sometimes. Sometimes you'll wake up perfectly fine, you go to bed, blink, and then it's morning, and there's no transition process. But I think the deeper your sleep, and being awoken from that deep REM sleep, that's when things can break apart. And then you can see things that you're not meant to see. And now time for the joke of the day. A blind man walks into a bar, and a table, and a chair. It kind of sucks to be blind. You have to have one of those sticks that you just navigate in front of you to not, walk into a bar or a table or a chair. Yeah. I am thankful I'm not blind. Even though my eyesight isn't great, I can still see without glasses. What are you thankful for? Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.